So I just uploaded a video a little bit ago of myself choosing to not nap and to take a shower, and I realize that is going to be very boring. So I wanted to explain a little bit of why I did that. First of all, I want to say that this whole thing is very new to me. Everything is very new to me right now for a lot of different reasons that I will probably go into at a later date. Right now, just kind of like briefly touch on it, on whatever. I have a goal. I have a goal in life, and I'm utilizing YouTube right now as my current tool to help me try to achieve this or work towards achieving this goal. And this goal is something that it's lifetime. It's the effort of achieving it, striving towards it, maybe. That is the goal itself. Anyway, forget all that, sort of. I feel like I have been in a state that I would describe as chronic happiness. And while I don't feel like I've had any thoughts that no one else has had before, I feel like I've joined maybe a growing number of people, which is, I feel so good all the time. And not all the time, but I'm getting better at it. And this is this state of being that I am working back towards making, like, my stasis, is so incredible that I want nothing more than to be able to share this to whatever degree to anyone I can. And I'm trying to figure out how to best communicate it. So it's an ongoing process. There are going to be, I screw up a lot. And this is not going to be, like, ever really, I don't know. Anyway, so currently I'm kind of feeling like I don't have a really good grasp in my own mind of kind of the mechanisms of work, or really even like I've barely, I haven't even gotten out of the kind of like blindly shooting in the dark for some of these things. But my current feeling is maybe it's going to be my best, really, the most effective for me to not just say, hey, I feel great, everyone should feel great too. Clearly that doesn't work. But to maybe, I'm trying to just use examples in my day-to-day life, and kind of illustrate why I do them. And again, it's not, I'm gonna realize at some point that a lot of these are just my current best idea. And I'm not saying anybody else should do these things too. I'm just hoping that some of these examples maybe will work for some other people, maybe not. For a little bit more background, I've been reading off and on this book called The Brain's Way of Healing. I think I'm going to double check on that, by Norman Deutsch. It is a follow-up book to the first one that he wrote, kind of like a while back, chronicling some of the stories of some of the people who were really on the frontier of studying neuroplasticity. And the second book, I haven't read the first one, by the way. I've not read. The second book is following a second generation of scientists, doctors, clinicians, people who have been freed up from the burden of having to prove the existence of neuroplasticity to be able to explore what can be done with it. And I have a very, very, very layman's knowledge of neuroplasticity. Let me just get that clear right now. I keep looking at myself and not at the camera. I'm trying to work on that. One of the very first section, it discusses chronic pain. And to my understanding, what he describes is, again, I may be mischaracterizing things here, but to my understanding, he said that chronic pain, it's like an illness in itself. Acute pain is what what they because I don't know anything about pain. In a scientific sense, acute pain is the initial experience of pain. 16 areas of your brain light up when you are processing acute pain. In chronic pain, it's those same 16 areas, but expanded over larger regions. And he uses a couple little, I'm going down a crazy road here. He uses a couple little catchphrases, aphorisms, I'm not sure what they're called, whatever, you know what I mean. It's like neurons that fire together, wire together. It's very handy, very concise. Neurons that fire apart, wire apart. Totally like encapsulates like the fundamentals of how neuroplasticity works, to my understanding. So what basically is going on in chronic pain, I know a lot of you know this, what's basically going on is it's the more frequently your body sends signals stating that, you know, this thing is painful, which operates via a series of like gates. You know, chemical messengers are sent out, and at each gate along the way, you kind of have systems that do like processing, they do assessing danger and likelihood based on what your current state is, what your environment is, what you're doing. Based on that, it will assess like the likelihood of future damage. And if it thinks there's a strong enough potential, it will excite more neurons, or excite neurons in that pathway. I'm probably using terrible terminology here. I'm not sure. Hopefully, I'm getting the point across though. And if it has a low enough assessment of the risk to further damage, it will inhibit them. And the more frequently you have neurons firing along this, say you have like a pressed nerve root or something, the more frequently neurons that fire and say like, oh, this is really bad. This is really bad. You're gonna get injured worse. Don't move. The more effective those neurons get, the more reinforced that pathway gets, the stronger the signal gets, the wider the field is in your brain that there's lights up when you're experiencing it. And I mean, to the point where in some cases of chronic pain, like the initial point of injury will no longer be there. You will no longer have anything pressing on that nerve root, but you will become so sensitive to things that aren't even touching it or whatever. You have a mental image of your body map in your mind, and the associated areas with that pain will expand way beyond the original injury site. And even when that's gone, you will continue getting those, and you become so sensitive to pain that it's kind of like an alarm system that is misfiring. And I've been thinking about that a lot in terms of psychological pain as well. And I'm sure that they go over that in the book, I'm sure. I just haven't gotten there yet. But that makes a lot of sense to me, just from my own experiences, as really kind of like highlighting how the process works of experiencing one, like associating, say, like something negative with yourself or with someone else. And then the more you think about it, the stronger that feeling gets. And the harder it is to unwire it. Or wire it apart, however you want to say. The flip side is that it goes in whatever direction you kind of like channel it towards. So, yeah, it sucks. Like, that's how it works with pain. But the same thing works for pleasurable sensations. I'm not talking about just physical. I'm talking about anything. Like, I have been, the more conscious I've been about this process, and the longer I've done it, like, I enjoy everything more. Colors are more vibrant. I get so invested. It just emotionally in like movies and TV shows, and I laugh so much more, and I really like I get scared, but it's fun scared, and I just feel things a lot more. And the more like I've done that, I mean it grows over time. It's continuing to grow, and yeah. So I mean I have probably more I can say about that. But with the shower thing, so I ended up taking. I turned on the water, and then I filmed that video, and then I go get my charger, and something, I don't remember what else, but I ran out of hot water by the time I got in the shower, and so I was really awake when I was done, because I ended up taking like cold shallow bath with like my head under the faucet because it was kind of lukewarm, and under the shower there was too much air. It was cooling off too fast, so I figured right on the faucet. It woke me up for sure. And I have had a tendency throughout my life to inflict punishment upon myself, whether it's not eating when I'm not feeling well, like, you know, I'm upset about something, I don't eat, to being on the street. I felt like I got myself into that mess. Long years of drug abuse, and I had no savings, so when I had fairly debilitating sciatic pain after my vacation pay ran out, I had no savings. It was my fault. However, I have sort of like altered that a little bit, fine-tuned it maybe, because I still feel like maybe I still take a cool bath. That was something where I feel like I like that prediction of what is the likely effect of me, like, making sure that I am exposed to the consequences. It's probably gonna be, I'm gonna remember not to do that later. The problem is that, oh, there's somebody playing their guitar in their car, that's cute. The problem is that with things like being on the street and not reaching out to a support system, that was waiting there for me the whole time. Is that really gonna help me get better? Is that really gonna help me not make the same mistakes again? No, of course not. Support systems are incredible. And you know, some of the stuff that I went through, I'm not like just flat out, like I wouldn't, you know, like if I was looking at somebody else, I would absolutely say that no one deserved to go through that. I'm not like crying for pity here. I don't regret any of it because the person that I am now is worth it. Absolutely, 100%. That being said, I would like to help share some of what I learned, maybe. Some of the insights that I feel like I got from it, with anyone else who wants to hear them, who might possibly gain from them, because now that I've done that the hard way, if someone else doesn't have to, that's cool. But the shower thing. Maybe this is a good way to talk about it. So I smashed my hand in the garage the other day. It's a couple months ago. So a friend of mine was there. Like full on fingers, like could not pull my hand out. And I had to like try and lift up the door. Still could not pull my hand out. And he's like asking what's wrong. And I finally got it up enough to where the slats opened a little bit, and I was able to remove my fingers. And that one was pretty bad. I didn't like purple fingernails and stuff like that. I actually had to lay down on the sidewalk for a minute because I got like super lightheaded. But I laughed about it so much, and I was just really glad because I was about to start working with some power tools and stuff. And I was like, I'm really glad I learned the lesson to not talk while I am operating things that could be dangerous for my physical safety. And I still have all my limbs and appendages. If I had tried to, if I had made that mistake while operating like some of the more like sharp and pointy bits that, power tools that my dad has, that's a much harder way to learn that lesson. And I was just really laughing at my own stupidity, because I knew better. I know better than to talk when I, anyway, the friend that I was with made a couple of comments like, oh God, this sucks, that's so terrible, but I just kept laughing, and I laughed about it for days, and I still think about that, and I feel like, I have a hard time remembering so many other times when I have hurt myself, something like that. I probably reacted, oh gosh, getting angry, but the time that I remember is the time that I laughed. And I don't know, I feel like, if I turn it into something where it's not, where I both make note of it mentally when I make mistakes, and then also am judicious about paying attention to and being realistic about predictions as to whether or not certain responses to it are actually going to make it better, to make me better. So that was the shower thing. I know it's pretty boring, but I was super awake after that because in the cold water, and I learned a good lesson. And I will be probably recording more of these videos, trying to use real world examples to try to become able to express some of these ideas that I've had a really hard time expressing in ways that resonate with people.